Okay. Well, as usual, live stream. I don't know why it says that. Anyway, what do we do? All right. Give me a question.
Is there a day that goes by where we don't? Is there a way that we can make it through a day without feeling anxious or scared? Or
If you feel anxious and scared all the time, then you'll go through every day without feeling anxious and scared. Next question. In other words, if you tell the truth that the human race is in process and you're in process and there's plenty to be afraid of and all this kinds of stuff, then you process it. And as you process it more, you go beyond it more. You've got to have the magic carpet ride in life. You must have that. The only way you can do that is to tell the truth about where you're anxious and afraid. The better you get at that, of course, the more that you don't experience anxiousness and fear. It changes form. It's not that you don't experience it, but it's not the same.
Another question? What should I do when I'm taking 10 seconds?
You said a wonderful thing, which I've shared with other people, which is that it works best when you have a time crunch. Like, I've only got 10 seconds now. I've only got 5 minutes now. And the more that you double up on that, the more that you can get into this idea of splitting time and splitting circumstance, suspended animation. And the quicker that you can access that transcendental state of suspended animation, like you're on top of a mountaintop, the quicker that you can get into the conflict of resolving personal issues.
So when you're taking your 10 seconds, you want to try and get the first 3 steps accomplished, right?
That's right. Well, all 7, but yeah. First step is expose where you feel uncomfortable. Second step is lengthen your embodied attention span, not dissociative, just in your head, but feel your body. Third step is transcendence. Fourth step is gravity, land yourself, which encounters conflict. Fifth step is blooming, which means be aware of the environment. All this depends on pre-processing.
What if you get interrupted after step 3?
Well, you learn that there's no such thing, that it's all, that's what you learn as you mature, that there's no such thing as interruption. Like some of the things we were talking about before. Is it an interruption or is it yet just a continuation of this whole thing of being healed?
So you stay the course.
Yeah, you just keep staying the course. Yeah.
So that's the medicine.
Yeah. You can say steps, you can say establishments, you could say phases, but each of those 7 steps are part of what happens when a person's being healed. And it all depends upon transparency.
I got another question. In one of my like prayer books, or I'm not sure exactly what they're called, from Yeshe Korlo, they talk about how it's like appearance, something, or the play of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember these.
Dharmakaya and Boku.
Yeah. Is that basically saying, like, in our physical world, seeing those things
Absolutely
as the play of the lamas?
Absolutely. If you are behind the scenes of environment at a party, it looks kind of funny. Person raises their glass on one end of the room and the other person somehow reacts to that. The volume changes because of one person's voice. There's little leverages that happen that change everything. You can see how it's all interconnected. When you have perception behind the scenes of environment, it absolutely is all healing you and guiding you. Now, that has nothing to do with discernment and action and war. But the problem is you can't have that conversation until you get this conversation,
Mm.
which is the oneness thing.
Mm. Another line talks about how spontaneous presence is where the path actually arises.
I have no idea what it means, but it sounds good.
Sounds good, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe every appearance is spontaneous presence of God.
Mm.
I guess that's what it's saying. So how can you do that if you are only having the method of energy chess and to analyze the other person? It's impossible.
Mm-hmm. You mean because that's not actually what's happening in the moment?
Well, that's subject-object scientific evaluation, which has its place, but that's the flower of perception. That's not perception.
Mm-hmm.
Perception is holistic. All of the different courses in a college program make the person to be well-rounded. But we try to use the intellect to avoid pain, get pleasure, kind of use the discriminating intellect to keep everybody out and under control and different than, no matter what. So to reverse that course of attention is very, very challenging because it instantly exposes you. But transparency and vulnerability is the only way towards invincibility. Once you kind of get that as a principle, or at least as a process, you become safer when you work with the winds rather than trying to own the winds. If you can accept that the winds are here, and then how are they going to direct your inner course and how they're going to direct your outer course? Now you have a proper process as a conduit of life, not a subject-object strategist primarily. Subject-object strategist can be secondary, but it has to be from a holistic kind of a viewpoint. Otherwise, you don't see the mystery. If you don't see the mystery in life, you have nothing whatsoever, because you don't know a lot of deep subjects and a lot of cool things. But what can you do to go in that direction? It's all about being healed, right? Because if you're healed, then you can heal your children. If you make more money, you can give more money. You can buy better cheats. So it's all about you in that sense. But if you're stuck on subject-object perception and you're not allowing life to talk to your insides, how can you do it? That depends on transparency. Transparency is terrifying. Because all the I'm not good enough comes in. So you look at the mirror in the bathroom and you see what you could do, but you don't stay with the mirror, you go into the wash basin. So the initial catalyst of self-analysis is one thing, but the process of self-healing goes beyond the catalyst of self-analysis. It goes into embodiment. Embodiment is healing. Your biology is your biography. You have to feel your body. If you feel your body and you land right here where you are, you see everything. All the people, all the circumstances. And one great thing that you see is that nobody else is doing that. Everybody else is strategizing to have control over or an angle. If you do that as a secondary thing, that's fine. As a 1% thing, that's fine. Einstein said the sole determining influence of the particle is the wave. The particle is the manifest world. The wave is superimposition, Bell's theorem, non-locality in quantum physics. It means that you perceive everything. But only if the eyes reverse direction can you do that. For the eyes to reverse direction, you have to be transparent. So the same state of mind you have in the secret world of your mastery and the secret world of being on a mountain or something is the same thing that you talk to other people with. That's the ideal anyway. And you don't have to think, you don't have to strategize, you don't have to self-analyze. All you have to do is be like a child. Geniuses don't think, thinking happens. All the right words, all the best actions, all the best strategies, it all will become driven as long as you accept the winds. The winds are other people's hearts and minds. The winds are these circumstances, not to initially control them as a knee-jerk reaction, but to initially harness them, synthesize them inside the body-mind. Getting perspective. Every business goes to a think tank when there's a problem. That's meditation. Then thought is animated. Thought is created according to need, according to drive. If you're trying to one-up everything by being in control of everything, there's no wins, there's no drive. So you end up losing energy in life. You mustn't lose energy and lose your psyche. Psyche is soul in Greek and all that as time goes on. You have to enhance that. That's the purpose of what's going on around here. And if you spend time, 10 seconds, 5 minutes, middle of the night, when you're waiting in a line, when you're driving a car, any time that's safe where you can reverse your search, the better you get at taking a dip in the flow, the better you are to be able to run your life. Next question.
Is it bad to laugh when you kick the soccer ball in the kid's face? I couldn't stop. I checked on him, but I couldn't stop.
No. Everyone's going to be mad at you now. Oh, look, it's following you. How come it's tracking you?
That'll edit out, right?
Yeah, never.
Okay.
I have no time for editing. So what happened anyway? How did that happen?
I was the goalie. The adults were just the
so you got the ball as the goalie, and then you kick it to go out into the field.
The adults,
and it went into the child's face.
Right in front of me, not even 5 feet away.
Oh, my God. And it must have been a good kick.
Poor had kid. The fix in this.
Facial reconstructive surgery.
The parents were all just through the roof excited, blacked out. I was so embarrassed for now it's day 2, and I still feel the shame of being so blacked out, excited, having fun, but just completely lost reality. And came back to reality after I did that and felt so bad. It's like so mindless.
Well, it's okay, a little mix-up is good, I think. He's okay.
He was fine.
Yogananda said, every day's meditation must be deeper than the previous days. Then you can reach God quicker. What does it mean? How do we do it? Because I sure as hell don't know. But I'd be happy to hear your words.
Deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess what comes to my mind is if you're digging a hole out here in the windy, sandy desert, if you don't dig a little bit deeper every day, the sand continues to blow in and fill in the hole.
Perfect. And so I'll be using that for 100 years.
Eventually you reach the water, but not if you don't continue to dig.
Perfect. So how do you actualize that reality? How do you respect that reality every day? What do you do to make that reality your truth? And right now, you only know that you do the outer world. You don't know that that's the only way the outer world is going to become the magic carpet ride, where things are better.
Well,
but so far, you're doing what?
Well, like you said, which I found to be really true, is I have to get to the silence. If I don't get to that silence, then the sand just piles on and piles on. So if I can't take the time and, all the steps, maybe the steps are a very sound system. I don't know who came up with them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some wannabe.
Oh, but yeah, it gets me there. It gets me to the silence, and it is like medicine on,
I was saying earlier today that the guy that created the Navy SEALs, first commander, and the person who was a big part of winning World War II, in my opinion, because they couldn't land in Normandy because the Germans had put all these obstacles, and he was one of the first divers to go blow up the obstacles so that all the troops could get in. He said, everybody says it's about leadership. It's not. It's about followership. So if you think about some great project, say all the pieces of a transmission, How are you going to do it? So if we could come up with an understanding that allows us to say, oh, I recognize long nasal breathing is helpful. Well, you don't think about that anymore. You follow that. Mm-hmm. Following it subjects the self entirely. But if you're following something that's genuine, then that person or that teacher, whatever it might be, is seeking to free you to the temple of your own understanding. But to find that level of bridge teacher or that level of enlightened master, you have to have some luck and some discernment and really focus. In the meantime, you can always say, oh, I picked this up from him and I picked this up from her, and you begin to write your own Bible. But if you do not codify these things, then you'll go nowhere, because the mind has the attention span of a gnat. Mm-hmm. So as soon as the bodhicitta works for Garchen Rinpoche, 5 minutes later, you're going to be like, I wonder, nothing's working. Because nothing ever works unless you stop aging, I guess. So that's why this idea of China, I mean, that's my goal in life, be a follower. How can I just follow along? Like Garchen Rinpoche talks about emotional affliction. We know now in science that emotion is so much more important than IQ in determining success in life. Yet what are we doing? We're trying to figure it out. But that's not what university studies say. If you go for a job as a CEO of Sony or some kind of giant organization, the whole thing is about emotional intelligence. That's what they test you on. So we know, according to universities, that it's all about emotional intelligence. That's the major thing that, if you're good at it, will produce overall success in your life. Everybody says EQ is below IQ. Psychologists say thoughts are control of your emotions. They're all wrong. Mistaken. Because a caveman has certain thoughts and certain feelings, and then they become thoughts. They become words. So obviously the root of all things is the feeling of an experience. Then the data is fine. Data is wonderful, but that's the manifest world. Einstein said, sole determining influence of the particle is the wave. So as long as the wave is on top and the particle is underneath, you're fine. As long as love and grace is on top of law and function and change, you're fine. But our brains are formed the opposite way. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to understand it. I'm going to tell the child what to do. I'm not going to identify with the child's emotional experience that he has with various people and so forth, or she. But EQ is over IQ, according to science. So you get to the place of meditation. The hardest thing is the bridge teacher, because you have to put up with they're an idiot. The perfect example. And if you can't do that, then you can never get to a guru. You can't go right to a guru, really, enlightened master, because the bridge teacher is the person that lives with that. Can you imagine? I live with the Garchen and I live with the Amaji all day long, all night, pretty much every day for years and years and years and years. You can't understand that experience. Impossible. As much as you want to say, I can always learn more and get it more than the other person. Not if I'm a genuine bridge teacher for you, then no, there's no way. So you have to deal with that, like the people that surround these enlightened masters, the one that lead devotional lives. You got to find out, how did they make that decision? How do they do that? Why do they do that? Is everything okay in their lives? Are they okay with their family? Do they make money? Whatever questions you have. But if you find out that the people that are closest to those master people, you'll find out that they are like in the miracle field all the time. So then you can say, okay, they're like me, but they know more about how to fix the engine. They've been studying the mechanics of it. As long as it's genuine bridge teacher and genuine enlightened master. then you have to give up your stuff and just work with them. Like I remember, Garchi Rinpoche and Amici are bridge teachers to God. They're not bridge teachers for us and, other masters. They're enlightened masters to us. But I remember the one time Garchi Rinpoche put the oxygen mask on, and I'm the master of breath, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm like, I can't learn from him then, because he doesn't know about breath. I'll fix Garchi Rinpoche's breath problem in a week. Will he listen to me? So therefore, I'm superior, don't need him. I need somebody else. Same thing if you go to Padre Pio, if you go to the saints in Catholicism, if you go to the Taoist priests on Wudang Mountain, if you go to anybody that's the real deal, all you got to do is look at him for 5 minutes, and you can dismiss him. So your job, our job, is to try not to do that with those people and just press play like you did with the Darshan. No thought, just let it do its thing. Question. The return of naturalness of being is what this is supposed to do, of what pressing play is supposed to do. It's tracking. How come it's tracking? I don't have it open. It never tracked by itself. I don't know these things.
Lady.
Roma Loma? Is she with Nyla Wyla? Tell her on my way. All right, we'll close out here and we'll.
Okay.
There we go.